Hi there, this is Nancy Mueller. Welcome back to another Choices for Women episode. I'm really excited today to share my guest with you. I have Connie with me, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. But ladies, if you are building a business, you really want to listen to this video. So Connie, welcome to Choices for Women.
Hi, Nancy. How are you today?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So, Connie, before we go any farther, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous?
Sure. Well, I'm just fabulous no matter what I do. I am president of a company called One Fat Frog Restaurant Equipment and Food Trucks. So we're in a 100,000 square foot facility in Orlando, Florida, and we are the largest manufacturer of food trucks and trailers. As well, we install hoods and walk-in coolers. So we've started to kind of encroach on the construction field too, which I think is becoming less and less unusual as I age, that women are in the field. And by golly, we need to definitely take over.
Excellent. Now, before you listeners and people that are watching are wondering, like, what does this have to do with me? I really would like you to listen to Connie's message today because, whenever we're walking around saying, oh my gosh, I can't make it with my business, or I have an entrepreneurial spirit, but it doesn't seem to be working, or, whatever negative energy you're throwing at it, I think that Connie has a really good spin on this. She has something that is very valuable for you to hear. And when her and I connected, I told her that the little girl inside of me was doing the happy dance and saying, yay, I made a new friend, because this is what it's all about, ladies. It's about collectively coming together, learning each other's stories and what we've been through, what we've done, and how we are rocking our world and partying like purple every single day. So, Connie, I'm going to let you share. You and I were talking a little bit earlier that when you started your business, you were married, you had two small children, but go ahead. I'm going to let you share that.
Yeah, almost immediately after I opened the business, my late husband was very ill, was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So I puttered along the first couple of years, and he was in and out of the hospital and very sick. It went on. I ended up being a single mom, and boy, that was tough. That was tough. There was no other option but to win. I mean, it was going forward. I had 2 children who were under 5 when he passed, and everything depended on me. So there wasn't even time to grieve. It was, let's go on. Let's figure out how to sell. What's our next deal on the table? And how am I going to best take care of these children and still remember who I am as a person?
Right.
The biggest thing for me at that point was the positivity. I had a friend who said, you know what, Connie, I will always think there's enough work. I don't listen to the news anymore. And that was the day I went home and I turned off TV, I turned off the news, and I just started focusing really on the positive. I spent that time in a whole different spot rather than get myself in a hole. You're going to work, that's for sure. There are going to be bad days, but you don't want anyone to reinforce the bad days for you.
Absolutely. So, Connie, would you ever say that there were days when you had a bad day and you said, what was I thinking? I don't know if I can do this. I feel like giving up. Did you ever have a day like that?
I still have days like that, Nancy. Let's be honest. I mean, that's called being human. And sometimes I allow myself to wallow for a little bit, and then it comes to the point, stop, put on those motivational tapes, put on that pick-me-up music, cut the energy, do some dancing, and then by golly, I'm not going to let anyone get the best of me. I've worked way too hard. The running joke for years in the industry was, it's Friday night, it's 9 o'clock, what's Connie doing? She's online. Oh, it's 11 o'clock, what's Connie doing? She's online. And I was just building infrastructure on the internet. And that's important for anyone outside of my field too. Almost every business now needs an internet presence. And that's something I have to say, start it anyway. You don't have to be super polished, but get out there and start talking about what you do and why you're doing it, and create a sense of community around your product or brand.
Absolutely. You said something that is so important, because I know that when you and I were talking and we talked about doing this interview, you were thinking that it was a podcast. And when I said, well, it's video now, you said, oh, I've not done video. And what I loved is that within 3 days, 3 or 4 days, we had it all set up and you were ready to do it. So I know, because I'm mentioning this because I understand that this is something new for you too, but you didn't shy away from it.
It's funny because we'd actually been on Restaurant Impossible and on Graveyard Cars, and I was always behind the scenes. And in fact, Robert Irvine from Restaurant Impossible had come to us and wanted us to shoot these reels and talk to us about a TV show. And he came off to the side and he talked to me and he said, well, Connie, I want to talk to you. And we're kind of liking the idea, but. And I looked at him and I said, I have a little bit of a froggy voice and I don't test the best in front of the camera. And he laughed and he said, yes, that's it. And I said, I'm just perfect being a writer and off to the side, Robert. I don't need to be in the middle there. So I've kind of always said, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm the person best in front of the camera. But at this point, I think it's time. I've got to step out. I've got a story to tell. I'm not polished. I did makeup and hair today, but that's not my number one focus. Sometimes I'm just worried about kids going to school and getting there and making it to work on time and having my morning meeting. So every day is just a little bit different.
I love it because you're just being so real and so open, and you're letting the viewers know that it's about showing up, not how you show up, and showing up every single day leads to more of, oh, what else do I want to do when I show up? What else is going to happen?
Every day should be a learning experience. Mm-hmm. And I love my job. I've been doing this for 15 years. Before this, I was a social worker, a teacher, and a principal. So people often say, gosh, Connie, that was kind of a large leap. And for me, it wasn't, because I had the same joy of life. I enjoyed things as much in all of those other positions. And I just brought it to food service, equipment, and construction. So the number one thing I think everyone needs to find is that joy, that they're doing it because they love it. Money will come. If you're loving what you're doing, money will absolutely come. And it will show itself because of your hard work. But you have to work. Now, am I working 6-7 days a week? Absolutely. We had a customer a while back. They told me, boy, Connie, I'm going to buy this food truck and then I'm going to have employees run it and I'll just sit at home. And I looked at him and smiled and I said, gosh, when you figure that out, I'd love for you to come and explain it to me. Because the world just doesn't work that way. I had another client who came in and said, I'd like to make more money. Help me with some marketing. And as we went through, they were doing everything right. And then I looked at them and I said, how much are you working? And they said, well, 2 days a week. And they have all of these excuses and reasons. And I have children. And I said, yes, I have children too. See that kid over on the couch? That's my middle child. And she's here hanging out on a Saturday. But, the easy way to increase their income, if they just worked it like a regular job. So becoming self-employed, you're going to be working more than a regular 9 to 5. You're going to be working more than 5 days a week if you want to make a comparable or better income. That's for sure.
But the awesome part about it is you're working all those hours on something that you love. And when you're working at something that you love, you're really not working. You're enjoying your day. Yes, yeah. I agree. So, Connie, what would you say to someone who says, it's a man's world?
I would question even why they would utter that phrase. You have to look at every day and say, in this business interaction, how am I handling different situations? And how can I play the game better? Because ultimately, every business interaction is a game. There's something to be won or lost. And with that being said, is it men versus women? Or is it that you have a skill set that you need to improve? And then are you sometimes working with closed-minded people that you have to buffer a man in front of you? I'd be a liar if I didn't tell you. Sometimes I have a man standing next to me when I have important meetings because I know the person sitting across the table wants that. And at the end of the day, I don't think that makes me weaker. I think that makes me stronger because I've got the sale.
Absolutely. I love that. And what I like to talk about when in that exact mindset is that it's not about men versus women. It's about there are men in this world, there are women in this world, and how are we playing to each other's strengths? Because everything is about strength, leading to strength. And a man could be strong in something that I'm not strong in, and I could be strong in something that he's not strong in. But when we're partnering on something, and it doesn't matter like who gets the credit. What matters is what is our ultimate goal? What do we want the outcome to be? And I think that that's where a lot of people stop. They don't think about that big outcome, that big goal. Like, why are we doing this together? Why are we partnering? And partnering could be, with a client, or with someone that you want to go into business with. It doesn't have to be, like in a relationship, but when we really learn to stop putting those barriers up and putting that negative energy out about, oh, well, he's a man, he doesn't understand, et cetera, et cetera. And I love your story because, when you share about going from being married to being a caregiver to your husband, and that anyone that's watching this and has been a caregiver to their partner, they know what it's like. It's all consuming, and you have to remember to find time for you in that. And then when your husband passed away, you continued to keep going and building this business. And what did you say the bottom line is today? You built it to what?
I'm not following on the
you said you built your business to, when you talk about you built your business from the ground to where you are today. So what type of income are we talking about, out there?
Yeah. Well, let's say I'm in a 100,000 square foot facility 10 minutes from Disney. So the rent ain't cheap here. We started out in my garage. My income's definitely six figures.
See there?
And I'm in charge of that. So ladies, if that's something you want to do it. One of my best welders ever was a woman. Now, she'd learned from her dad. She'd learned on the docks up in Jacksonville, and the best day, Angel took a day off during the middle of the week. And the guys came to me and they said, can we call Angel? We have an emergency. We need her help welding. And I said, yes, girl power. And I will tell you, my service manager and our warehouse manager, purchasing manager are all women. That being said, they were the best candidate, and they asserted themselves as the best candidates. They weren't just hired based on, hey, I'm a woman. And that's important. Make yourself the best wherever you are, however you are, and everything else is going to happen because of that.
I love that. Connie, thank you so much for sharing you and for following your mission and your passion for what you do, and for this beautiful message. I really, really feel so in alignment with who I am and what I do, having spent time with you. And I appreciate being able to have this interview with you and help share your message. And I really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Nancy, I really appreciate your positivity.
Thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to leave with, a parting note, a parting thought that you'd like to leave the listeners with?
I think the number one thing right now that's changed the business is gratitude. Getting up every day and being grateful for every second, every interaction. And they all add up in the end of the day to exactly where we're supposed to be. So not worrying that every second has to count toward a sale, toward a business interaction, but being genuine in the moment.
Oh, I love that. See why my five-year-old little girl inside of me is jumping up and down saying, woohoo, I have a new friend. I love it. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do for yourself, your family, for your clients, your customers, and for women who will be viewing this video. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Ciao for now.